Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about rationalizing expressions. So rationalizing is just removing the radical from the denominator. A radical is essentially just like a square root, a cube root, a fourth root, and so on. So what we're going to be doing is removing the radical from the denominator. So over here on the left we have 3 over square root of 5. We want to get rid of this square root of 5 in the denominator. Our final product will look something like this, 3 square root of 5 over 5. And there's a series of steps to perform when you want to remove the radical. So let's get into that. Okay, so let's work on our first question. We have 1 over radical 3, or square root of 3. The first step you're going to want to do is multiply the top and bottom by the radical in the denominator. So when we multiply 1 and square root of 3, we're going to get 1 times square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3, because you're multiplying both the top and the bottom by the square root of 3, which is our radical. When you simplify this, you'll get square root of 3 over, always note that any radical multiplied by itself will just result in the number that's inside. So square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3. Why? Because 3 times 3 is just square root of 9, which is just equal to 3. So you just start where you were at the beginning. So this will just be 3. So that's your final answer for that question. 1 over square root of 3 is also equal to square root of 3 over 3. And this is the rationalized form. So let's move on to our next question. Over here we have 2 over 2 times the square root of 5. First step is to multiply the top and bottom by the radical. So we're going to multiply by the square root of 5 since that's the radical we have over here. When we multiply that, we're going to get 2 times square root of 5 on the numerator over 2 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. We know that the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is just 5. So this is going to result in 2 square root of 5 over 2 times 5. That simplifies to 2 square root of 5 over 10, and then you can cancel out 2 from 2 and 10 on the numerator and denominator. So your final answer will be the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. So this is your final answer and your more rationalized form of 2 over 2 square root of 5. So now let's try our last question. We have 3x over 2 times square root of 7. First step, as I said, is to multiply the top and the bottom by your radical, so square root of 7. When you multiply the top, you're going to get 3x times square root of 7. When you multiply the denominator, you're going to get 3 times the square root of 7 times the square root of 7. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is just 0. So your numerator is going to stay the same, so 3x times square root of 7 over 2 times 7. So this will then simplify into 14 in the denominator, and this will be your final rationalized form, 3x times square root of 7 over 14. I hope you all found this video useful, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below.